Hey everybody, welcome back to Scrap Mechanic. Today we're back in the race world and we'll be building another viewer suggested creation, and this time it's a superbike. And of course I also made a rocket version, but I'll get to that one later. So yeah, this is a build that I've been wanting to do for a long time. I really felt like my motorcycles could use some updating, and I really wanted to do a more futuristic looking design after I saw some really cool ones on the workshop. But yeah, I just didn't know what to do with the curves, because making curves in this game can be really hard with the limits, with the limited parts that we have. And I did try to do something with bearings, but yeah, it would either look pretty ugly or it would cause a lot of frame drops. And then I found the glass domes, which I never have actually used before, I think, and those worked pretty perfectly. Now, it was a little tricky getting the wheels close to the glass domes, because the glass domes don't really work like domes, they're actually solid objects. So you can't just cram a wheel under there. It was a little tricky getting everything to work, but later of course I'll show you how to build it, and I'll show you how I did this. Now this has become my default cruiser, because this thing is actually faster than my old motorcycle. I think it did 3 laps 8 seconds faster than the other one, and it's around 10 seconds slower than the hot rod. So it's pretty fast, not ridiculous, but pretty much what I would expect from this thing. Because yeah, it's fast, but it's a bit lighter, and it has too few wheels, so it can't really get its grip down. Like you can see right now. Every now and then it just hops a bit, and yeah, you really have to let go of the throttle, and then you can get going again. And yeah, if you do know how to use it, you can definitely be fast with this thing, but there are easier vehicles that I've made. But I do think that it looks pretty cool, and it actually matches pretty well with my dude in leather, with the white headband and the white details. So that is pretty cool. Now, if you are wondering, hey, what's this about? Firestorm HD modified my race2.db world, and he added a bit of a garage, which is really cool. You may recognize that I did those rolling shutter doors in the garage that I had over there. He made more traditional garage doors that slide, and I really like that. And he even put my name on it, which is cool. And of course, there's also a normal entrance. So, oh, I am getting some frame drops, so I might have to move this car. Actually, they just passed, so it's all good. So yeah, really like this thing. Really appreciate that kind of stuff. There is a lot of grass or weed sticking through the floor, but a lot of people turn off foliage, so you may not have seen that. I don't know. So now I'll quickly take this thing for a test spin. This one is faster, however, I didn't time it because, well, I didn't really want to do 2 versions of the same vehicle, one with rockets, one without. It didn't make a lot of sense, but it is fast as hell. I have raced against some other people in some of their own creations, and it was a total blast. And because of the angle on the thrusters, it actually grips quite well. So yeah, this thing works pretty well. However, the turning radius is slightly bigger, just because there is more weight to turn around. So that's a slight downside, but I still really like driving this thing as well. So both of these of course will be on the workshop, and I'll show you how to build the other one, because these are pretty much identical. The only thing that's different is the 2 thrusters that are mounted where normally there would be that glass dome. So I'm thinking let's go back to spawn. Ooh. Sketchy. And let's try and keep this thing under control, and let's go to our usual parking spot where we always like to build stuff, and let's get cracking. So park this thing here. So we're gonna start off with a lift like always, and then I'm gonna take some parts. Let's see, we'll need some metal, we'll need the normal seat, the wider seat of course. We'll need a lot of these I-beam ends. We'll need some bearings, some short shocks, some controllers, and some sensors, and that should be good for now, I think. Yeah, I think so. So I will spawn one of the normal bikes here, just to make it slightly easier, if I can find it. I have so many blueprints. There we go. And, oh, by the way, as you can see, if you spawn it, then it looks a little silly. That's because of those domes. I couldn't just put the arms backwards and let them fall down. Same in the front. So yeah, let's just start with a piece of metal. What I usually do is make a piece of metal that's 2x16. It's way too long, but then if we put it on the lift again, then the lift is out of the way. Oh, actually gonna rotate it. There we go. So now we're gonna place a steering wheel right in the front, and then what are we gonna do? Then we're gonna place, actually I'm gonna take out the wire tool, and I'm gonna check where the controllers are. So they are at position 1 and 3 and 6. And in the second position we have the suspension glitch. So already. So we'll do the same here. We're gonna place a controller right here in the first row. Let's place it with the little screen pointing down, and let's raise the lift just a bit more. And then in the third row we're gonna place one. Actually, I'm gonna remove the second row too. And we're gonna place some extra metal here to connect it temporarily. And we're gonna remove that last row and place the controller here as well. Alrighty. And I guess now we can remove all that metal there. Doesn't really matter. And we can also remove this metal. So now we're gonna add the steering mechanism. That's just a bearing here. And then an I-beam end right here, I believe, yes. And then a short shock and another I-beam end on the end. Like so. So that's pretty much the steering. And now of course we'll place some on the... Oops, that wasn't intentional. On the controllers as well, just to make it look a lot more cleaner. And on this side as well. So, oh wait, I screwed that up, didn't I? Yes, I did. I totally rotated these wrong. No, that's not it either. These are always, these always seem to be the trickiest ones to place. I'm not sure why. Probably just coincidence. So, yeah, there we go. So now we're gonna place two suspension glitches. I'm gonna do it exactly the same as here. So we'll place one bearing on this I-beam end and one on this one. And on those bearings we're gonna attach some more I-beam ends, like so and like so. There we go. To those we'll attach, of course, some shocks. And on the other end we'll place some more of those I-beam ends. So now let's do this one first so we don't have to rotate it. And this one like this. So that's pretty much the base itself. And now we can wire up this bearing to the steering wheel and flip it, I think. And then we'll connect this controller to this bearing and this controller to this bearing. And now that it's easy to access the controllers, we're going to set this one to plus 15 and we're going to set this one to plus 15 when activated. And we don't have to flip either one of these bearings, so that's good. So that's pretty much the base of the bike already. So now we can add an engine and we can start working on the front arm, I think. So let's take out an engine and we'll get rid of this one, and we're going to use more I-beam ends, quite a few more, and we're going to use some duct corners on the ends because they look very smooth. And we'll need some bearings, some wheels, and we're probably going to need the glass dome soon. And I think that's pretty much it. We're also going to need some wedges, of course. Yeah, and where do we have... There we go, the small windshield. That's what it's called, of course. So now we're going to lower it. We're going to place an engine. How exactly? I think with the handlebar thingy up. So like this. And yeah, I thought I also took out the duct corner. There we go. And we're going to place some duct corners around it like this. Now on top of that, we're going to place some I-beam ends. This episode is mostly going to be me rotating I-beam ends because, yeah, that's the biggest part of this build almost. And actually we're going to place some on top as well. Yep. And on top of that we're going to place that glass dome, or the windshield I should say. So I'm not sure if I can already place it. Sometimes, yeah, sometimes they're a little tricky like that. We have to place a lot of extra stuff before I can actually do that. So temporarily we'll just spam a lot of these things here. And now it's probably going to be able to place it. And then we're probably unable to remove this. Oh no, we can still reach this easily. That's good. Remove this and these in the middle. Of course you could put something in here, but personally I like it better when it's empty. And you generally don't really see it, especially once it's painted. So now in the front we'll place some more of these I-beam ends. 1, 2, like this. Actually number 3 as well. And here we will place a few more like so. Again 3. And then on top of those, I mean in front of those, we'll place some wedges. Excuse me. So now we can do the front arm. We'll just place some bearings right here. And right here. And we'll lift the bike a bit, and then we can make the arms pointing down. So now we will place a duct corner here, and I think then we'll place 2 I-beam ends, but maybe the arm is actually longer. Yeah, it's probably longer. So let's see, 1, 2, let's try 3. Yeah, 3 of them, and 3 on this side, of course. 1, 2, 3, and then we're gonna place some duct corners on the end of that. Awesome. So now to that we will attach a bearing and then a wheel, and then of course we have to place a bearing here and then a duct corner on top of that bearing, and then we can weld this together later. And I'm guessing that we should, let's see, we have 3 controllers. How did I wire this again? Why do we actually have 3 controllers? We only need 2, right? I think so. Yeah, I think I may have made a little mistake there, but we can always remove that last controller. That's not an issue at all. Yeah, actually, I'm pretty sure that this is just metal here, so I'm not sure what went wrong there, but it's easily fixed and it's not an issue. So we're gonna put some metal here, and yeah, we're just gonna disconnect it, place 2 blocks here, and then we're gonna take out the weld tool, and I'm gonna shoot it right there, and I'm gonna attach it to this metal again. We might not need the metal anymore, but I think it's just a bit easier to work with, so yeah. So now we're gonna connect this bearing to either of the controllers, doesn't really matter, and we're gonna check out what angle we set again. I think it was 30 degrees, but honestly I have no idea. So we're gonna look at this one, and oh wait, of course it's 75 degrees because it's pointing down, and yeah. So we're gonna do that here as well. We're gonna set this to 75 degrees permanently. So now let's see how that looks. Of course it's going the wrong direction, and there we go. So now you should see that this is sitting pretty snugly against the glass. Currently it's looking all a bit weird, but once you paint it black it suddenly looks a lot better. So now we can start working on the rear part. So I'm thinking first let's do this this upper part, which is pretty easy, I think. So now we can remove all this metal. We can place some duct corners pointing up like this, and later we'll attach the arms here. And now we will place some I-beam ends, I think 2 on top of each other, 1 and 2. Actually, did I place them exactly like this? I may have done it slightly different. No, I placed this one like this, and this one like this, and those on top I placed like this, so it looked a lot cleaner. Let's see. Yeah, like this. Because now on the outsides we can place some wedges, and that will attach to the windshield. So I'm not sure if we can actually place the windshield like this, or we might have to fool the game a bit to think that there's a, well, not really fool the game, but yeah, if we have to place some more material here, I think we do. So now let's place this down right here. No, that's one too high. Right here. Awesome. And now we can remove these 4 temporary blocks. I love how you can see the steering wheel appear and disappear every time. So yeah, that's the rear part. Again, not too difficult at all. So now let's put it on the lift and let's weld this before I forget. And let's take it off the lift again, see if everything's working correctly there. And yes, it is. Awesome. So now we can connect the front wheel. This is always a little tricky. Sometimes it looks like it's going the right way, but it isn't. That depends on which bearing you pick. Because a bearing that's attached on top on the wheel instead of on the rest, that's yeah, that usually works a bit differently. So now let's see how fast we have this engine. This engine we have set 2 below max, so I think that's 6. So let's do it with this one as well, and let's see if this works. Nope, this one is inverted, so we do have to flip it. And now it's working. Awesome. And steering is working as well. So yeah, we're definitely making good progress. So now I'm going to put it on lift again, and I'm going to start working on those rear arms. So for that we'll again use duct corners pointing down on either side. Then we're going to do a bearing. And immediately, right? Oh, actually, we're not going to use duct corners. We're just going to use I-beam ends. That's right. Currently, it's going to look a little odd, maybe, but when it's all done, it's going to look the smoothest. So we'll place them like this, then a bearing, then a sensor, pointing out, of course, and then another bearing, and then more of those I-beam ends. I think 2 more of them, but we're gonna make sure in just a second. 1, 2. Yeah, 1, 2, and then a duct corner, and then a bearing and a wheel. Awesome. So bearing, wheel. Of course, the lift is now in the way, so that's gonna be a little tricky. How are we gonna do that? Not sure. We can remove the lift and immediately place it, and then it's under there, but not fixed. So that sometimes helps. It's a little sketchy. Maybe, lift it a bit more, quickly place a wheel before it falls off. And now we can place it on lift, and now it should attach somewhere else because of the wheels, so that should make it a bit easier. So yeah, this is one of those builds where sometimes the lift is a bit in your way, but yeah, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. So now we're gonna attach an I-beam end to this bearing. If we can rotate it correctly, there we go. Then we're gonna attach a bearing, then we're gonna attach a sensor sticking out, and then another bearing, and then we're gonna attach 2 more I-beam ends with the open end to the middle. There we go. And now we can attach this section to this section, and the rear arm should be done. So now we're gonna have a look at bearing number 2 on this controller. We'll temporarily put a lift under here so we can see what the angle is. Maybe this one was 30. Honestly, I have no idea. So this one is set to 70, of course. So we'll connect this one here, connect it to this front controller, so we can control everything from this one. And we'll set it to 75. Hold Shift, and then we're gonna drag it to 70. And now, yep, that seems to be correct. Except everything is floppy because all of these bearings are loose and they can stretch. So what we're gonna do now is, first off, we're gonna connect this bearing to the steering wheel and this one as well. And we're gonna see what that does for us. So currently, yeah, they're going the wrong way. So we're gonna put it on lift. And we're gonna flip this bearing, and we're gonna flip this bearing, and now we're gonna attach these ones as well. You can let these loose, it should work, but this is just a bit stronger. And by the way, you can also attach this bearing and this bearing, but it's gonna make the ride slightly stiffer. I'm not sure if you'll actually notice, but if you just attach one bearing, then you should have a bit more give or flex. So now let's remove this and see how it's working. I think that... Oh wait, or were the bearings correct? Maybe I screwed up with flipping them. I think I have. That's odd. Yeah, that's right. If you build it backwards, then that's how it works. But sometimes if you build it down, then it's all different. So we're gonna flip all of these green bearings and try again. So now they should point up. No, they aren't. Heh. Okay, maybe they were right all along. I'm confused. I'm not sure what's going on. I was so sure that it was doing the same exact thing a minute ago. No, it's correct. So I guess my first hunch was right. So we're gonna place it on the lift again, and now we're gonna attach this sensor on the left, which is triggered if we're leaning too far left, to this controller, which helps us lean right, I think. Yeah, I think that's right, but we'll just test it to make sure. So we're gonna stand here, and it's pushing away, and yep, that's all good. So yeah, that's pretty much the motorcycle. It's pretty easy, actually. If you do put on thrusters, just remove this piece of glass, and then you can put on these corner pipes here, like I did on top, just 2 of them, and just add the thrusters, and that's it. And the thruster power level I gave them is 4. If I set them higher, then it's a bit chaotic, so this is the sweet point, if you ask me. So now let's give it a nice funky color. I could of course make it black, but you've already seen a black variation, and we might mix it up a bit. We could do black with a fancy other color though. I've already done black with purple glass here and purple thrusters, maybe black with purple or lime green wheels. That could look really cool. So we're gonna put on lift because that's a lot easier to work on. And yeah, first we'll just make everything black. Oh, those metal blocks as well. You don't really see them or anything, but still. Can we actually get to those blocks here? Yes, we can. Nice. And the front as well, of course. Also gonna make the controllers black, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, of course the glass too. The glass doesn't really go black. I think that the gray part stays the same color, but you can tint it a bit. So that's cool. And the purple looks really cool as well. But I'm guessing we're just gonna stick with black. We're gonna make that part black. Everything is now painted, and let's try first a lime green. Ooh, that looks so awesome. I like that. We have green with gray. It works. Yeah, it's actually probably the best combination. Because purple with gray might look worse. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go for lime. That looks nice. So now we're gonna hop on, and of course we're gonna have to test it. See if everything works properly. If we didn't screw up anything. Did we actually wire the rear wheel, or is it now front wheel drive? It might be. That is actually a good idea. It feels totally wrong, but if you make it front wheel drive, then it doesn't do wheelies all the time. So now, yeah, this is a good example. I built first this arm, then this bearing, then this wheel, then this bearing, and then this arm. And then I welded this together. And now this looks like this is rotating the right way after it's connected to the engine. However, if I get on and you look closely, then you can see that the wheel is going backwards and they're going against each other. So that's what I was talking about earlier. That this seems to be very counterintuitive at times. So now both wheels are attached. We have a fancy black and green superbike, and let's see how it's working. It's actually feeling pretty much the same as the other one. So yeah, I guess we did everything correctly. So yeah, that's how you make the superbike. By the way, I will be trying to make some more motorcycles. I have tried something with a sidecar, but it didn't end up looking nice. So I'm not sure if I will be able to do that, but I will definitely be making a dirt bike. So that should be coming in the next couple of weeks as well. So yeah, I think we'll end it right here. Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.